Bitcoin mining is the best thing that has happened to clean energy grids. Miners have already built a system that responds to the price of electricity, to the spot price of electricity, and automatically, when there is excess energy being generated by the grid, the miners turn more and more of their rigs on because they're getting energy for cheaper. And when there is deficient energy generated and the spot price shoots up, they just turn off their operations.
I see.
So now grid operators, they are trying to attract more and more miners so that they don't need to scale their grid up to insane levels to create a base load without the help of coal.
Even though I know, I've read about it that it is something legit, just it doesn't feel legit. So, that is why.
I want to double click on that feeling.
Okay.
Why do you think it doesn't feel legit?
Because it's just, is it not just about a very unique address of some block of something, and maybe I don't know about it enough, that's why.
What is your current impression? I would like to know first.
That it can just, from whatever I understand about what Bitcoin is, I just feel like it can just blow up at any moment, and people will just realize, oh, this is not real or something, and it'll all collapse, which has happened before, hasn't it? But people got their money back a little bit. What did happen a while ago?
When you say it will all blow up or it will all collapse, are you talking about the price of Bitcoin, or are you talking about a particular exchange on which Bitcoin is bought and sold?
Particular exchange, not the price, particular exchange and the whole philosophy of it.
Okay, so Bitcoin as an asset, but also a particular exchange.
Yes.
So there are two different problems. We'll address the easier problem first, exchange. Never buy and leave on an exchange. Buy on an exchange and then move it to a private wallet that you control. So you have the passphrase, the private key, the seed phrase actually, and then there is no fear of blowing up, no fear of the exchange going bust and all your Bitcoin getting lost. So that is the simple solution to doing that. I recorded an episode on that today morning. And coming to the bigger question of what if the idea of Bitcoin itself is gone? Before I try to answer this question, I want to ask a few questions to you.
Go on.
What do you think is the size of Bitcoin? How big is it?
Like in GBs?
No, I don't mean the size of the blockchain itself, although that's a good way to think about it as well. I mean as an asset class, as the total market capitalization.
Oh,
Compare it to something. Compare it to a company, compare it to some other asset.
okay. I don't know this at all, but winging it. Seems like. Is it $1 trillion industry?
It is $1 trillion asset,
Oh
yes.
my, it's big enough. Yeah, it is big enough.
Just to give you a sense, all the silver in the world until very recently was less valuable than all the Bitcoin in the world.
Wow.
Now that there's been a run up in silver prices, it's gotten slightly ahead again, but it's a matter of time. Bitcoin will be back up. There are only 3 publicly traded companies in the world that are more valuable than Bitcoin:
Which ones?
Nvidia,
Uh-huh.
Microsoft, Apple.
Okay, so pretty legit.
All your Reliances and Tatas and Teslas, everything is below Bitcoin.
I see. My next question could sound like a very. No question is noob enough. It's fine. So, we know that Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, all their earnings and their market share and their position, they are very interlinked with the country's governments and how everyone is working, everything. So is the Bitcoin industry, is it also linked with all the world phenomena? Or is it siloed? What is the situation?
That's a good question. It is getting more and more linked at a pace that is surprising most people. even the most optimistic of people in this space. For instance, when I got into it for the first time, 2023, there were talks of banning Bitcoin. Um, Very recently back then, the RBI had tried to ban Bitcoin, and then the Supreme Court overturned it. And then our finance minister, our dear finance minister, comes on television to say that it is her sovereign right to tax Bitcoin, but she's not going to provide any clarity on legality.
Not going to provide any clarity on legality. Huh.
That was back then.
Okay, what about now?
It's fine.
Okay.
So it was at a point where when I was getting into it, it was legitimately possible. Even I thought it is possible that it might die out. But I got into it experimentally, put in a little bit of money, you know. And when I say I don't necessarily always mean my personal money. It can also be my family. So I use the word I sometimes to refer to my family when it comes to investing. Right now, the differences that have happened in 2 years, a little more than 2 years. At the start of 2024, the US government approved exchange traded funds. So, like you have ETFs for gold, for other assets, you now have ETFs for Bitcoin in the US. So, earlier, a lot of people were buying on exchanges, or they were buying and then moving it to their private wallet, and then they would forget the passphrase, or the exchange would get hacked and they would lose. So, a lot of people were afraid that they would get scammed or they would somehow lose their Bitcoin. With an ETF, that worry is a lot less. There is still a risk that the ETF holder itself, like the company, let's say BlackRock, will somehow compromise the coins and then all people's Bitcoin will go away. But that's the trust you have to place in them. And that's the trust you place in them when you buy a gold ETF as well, that they actually have the gold that you've paid for. So on some level, you have to trust someone else when you have them hold it. That's why the best thing to do is to hold it yourself and hold it safely. People keep asking me where to buy Bitcoin safely in India. I use GetBit for all my Bitcoin purchases. It's the one I recommend to friends and family as well. GetBit is India's first Bitcoin only exchange. No distractions, no casino coins, only Bitcoin. You can set up a Bitcoin SIP with GetBit starting at just rupees 100, which makes stacking sats really easy. And whenever you're ready, you can withdraw your Bitcoin to your own private wallet for free. So you don't ever have to worry about a hack. If you want to check it out, you can use my code DVJBTC for 30% off on platform fees for the first 3 months. The link is in the description. And you now have Bitcoin treasury companies that are popping up everywhere in the world. What these companies do, as a matter of stated intent, is that they raise money from the market through different instruments and they put that money into Bitcoin. And their valuation is linked very closely to the price of Bitcoin. So these become proxies in a way for people who want to again buy Bitcoin but are afraid or don't understand the technology or something, and they just buy the stock of this company instead.
Like
MicroStrategy. Yeah, that was the first one to do it as a matter of like, this is what we are going to do now. Now there's more than 200 such companies in the world. So that has accelerated.
Does India have one?
India has one.
Which?
Jet King Infotrain.
Is it on the market?
It is listed. You can buy it. I can't say anything about whether you should buy it or not.
I see.
I haven't analyzed their fundamentals yet. So I have managed to develop a few frameworks on how you would decide which treasury company you want to put your money on. The short answer is MicroStrategy. The long answer I'll make a video on.
Got it.
Yeah. So you have treasury companies, you have the US and other countries around the world as well passing laws regulating cryptocurrency. So earlier they were actually a silo, they were operating outside of the traditional system. But now there are more and more regulations being passed to include them into the traditional system, to offer them as investment assets to the public. So in the US now, you can invest in Bitcoin as part of your pension fund. The US government even has now a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Like governments have strategic gold reserves. Why do they have gold reserves? Because they know that their currencies are prone to getting worthless. Because their currencies are backed by nothing, or at least have been backed by nothing since 1971. when the US went off the gold standard. And since then, all currencies are just backed by the belief that they will be valuable, and they are prone to losing that belief.
Well, nobody's doing it better than Zimbabwe, but
Zimbabwe, Venezuela, there's competition.
yeah, there's
There's
competition.
competition to be hyperinflated. The interesting thing about that, and we'll get back to the main subject again, if you look at the curve of these countries, of the money supply and the inflation and all of that of these countries, you look at the hyperinflated countries and you think, these are exceptions. But you look at their journey, and countries like India, like the US, are on some point of that same journey.
Oh.
We are also heading towards hyperinflation.
So, how to safeguard ourselves? Does Bitcoin play a role there?
Bitcoin, gold, other assets, real estate, even something like a Nifty 50 or an S&P 500 index fund, because these companies are producing something of value. And whether or not the rupee remains, you will still need food to eat, you will still need to travel somewhere, you will still need to do stuff. So owning a share of these companies is always going to be valuable. It's not going to make you richer, and I genuinely believe that an index fund does not make you richer. The math says so. But if you want to protect yourself and get richer at the same time, there is nothing better than Bitcoin.
I see.
Gold is also great, by the way. Not necessarily for getting richer. See, gold and Bitcoin are actually competing assets.
Huh.
They're competing to be the same thing.
You mean like, can Bitcoin be seen as something which can safeguard you? Because with gold investment, I see it's more about safety.
Yep.
So I can't fathom how such a intangible asset like Bitcoin can guarantee safeguarding.
When you say you see gold as safety, safety from what?
Safety from whatever is happening around the world, it is going to stay valuable because it's tangible. Tangibility is something I associate a lot with investments and money. And I don't know, in very simple terms, it is valuable for almost everyone around the globe. So that's how I feel that it's safety. Everyone will see value in it. It can never be of zero value around the world.
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
Huh.
Historically, I see why gold has the image of being a safe asset. Even I see it as a safe asset myself. But I don't feel convinced that it is always going to have value. There have been things that have had value for extended periods of time and then lost that value. And when you study this more deeply, you realize that there are properties that make things valuable in certain conditions. And in different conditions, different things are valuable. In a world without Bitcoin, gold would be my best bet.
Okay. Oh, in a world without Bitcoins.
Because what is obvious, what is undeniable, what is math is that all countries are walking towards hyperinflation. Some of them are running, some of them are jogging, but all are at least walking. So fiat currencies, rupees, dollars, euros, these are going to end, or these are going to hyperinflate. So you will move to a different form of currency. And this happens. This has happened multiple times in the course of history, where different kingdoms have tried to impose different kinds of currencies on their people, and eventually it hyperinflates and it goes to nothing. So if you look on a long enough time horizon, you'll see it more clearly. But if you look at since you were born, you've always seen the rupee, you've always seen the dollar, so it's harder for people to grasp. So you need to take a bird's eye view of history. When money fails, when fiat fails, what is going to stand? What is going to serve as money? Historically, whenever any other form of money has failed, it is gold that has come up as money, because there was nothing as good, there was nothing as scarce, as durable, as fungible, as divisible, as acceptable universally. So gold would come in with all the right properties and then become money again, and then it would stay money until someone would come and try to disrupt that. But the reason why gold lost out to other forms of money and has not been used directly as money for multiple centuries now is because Technological improvements made gold unsuitable to be used as money. Even before that, actually, there were other issues. For instance, divisibility. Now, gold is divisible for sure, but how divisible is it? If you want to go to the market and buy one apple, how much gold would you pay for it? You'll have to shave off a little bit. This is why copper or nickel or bronze or silver was used along with gold in history, because gold had too much value and there was a divisibility issue. So these other lesser valued coins would be used for small transactions and gold would be used for big transactions. Like you have 500 rupee note and a 10 rupee note, something like that.
Yeah. I am seeing where you're getting at, because I remember us talking about the amazing property of Bitcoin being so easy to be divided.
Yeah, so divisibility, of course, that is one property. The biggest challenge that you have with gold is that it is a physical asset. The tangibility of it is the biggest problem with it, because you are transacting with the whole world. The world is a lot more connected than you would realize sitting in one place. Trade is happening everywhere. Constantly goods and services are being exchanged. So money has to flow. And if you build a system that is based on a physical asset that would need to be moved every time there's a transaction, or every periodically, let's say once a week or whatever, that would require trust, that would require security, that would require logistics, that would incur a lot of costs, that would require verifiability every single time. Because when I get a gold bar, how do I know it's actually gold and it's not like an alloy? I'll have to melt it and recast it. That takes away 1 to 2% of the value of gold, the process itself. So gold is unsuited to the needs of the 21st century. It was unsuited to the needs of the 18th, 19th century already. You need a money that has all the properties that gold does, but can be transacted anywhere in the world instantaneously, that can be operated on a trustless manner, that can be verified instantaneously and costlessly. What is it? And that is not controlled by anyone, because the US dollar currently is the money that everyone uses for trade, for everything on an international level. And people are losing trust in the dollar because it is controlled by the US government, and they abuse that power, and they have been, and they do more and more of it. And especially since Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the West freezing and sanctioning Russia's assets, other countries are now spooked. So if the West is upset with Russia, they're going to sanction all their dollar assets. But what if the West becomes upset with them for some reason? So no one wants to hold treasuries now. No one wants to hold too many dollars now. And this is also an interesting development here. For the first time in 30 years, central banks around the world hold more gold than they hold treasuries. You look at the amount of gold and treasuries that banks held, you go back 50 years or so, they were increasing treasury holdings and decreasing gold holdings. And then after the 2008 financial crisis, the first shock was delivered, the first question of like, okay, the dollar system is not bulletproof. And then you see a little bit of shift happening. And then since 2022, it's just been crossing over. So now there's more gold. Governments trust a neutral asset that no one can control. And it makes perfect sense why that is the case. Bitcoin is neutral. Bitcoin cannot be controlled. It's code. It's global. It is beyond global. If humans were to colonize Moon or Mars, you can't use gold as a settlement layer between Earth and Moon.
You can't.
You can use Bitcoin. You can just transmit signals.
That is
It
interesting.
works. For an interstellar species, Bitcoin is still money. Gold is not money for an interstellar species. Gold is not money for a 21st century person. Bitcoin is money.
I see. If you don't mind answering this, have you incurred any loss while investing in Bitcoin?
No, I've incurred ridiculous profits, but no loss.
Ridiculous profits. Nice.
That's the long-term signal. And right now, a lot of people ask me that, is it too late?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I was going to ask you this. Yeah.
Is it too late to invest in Bitcoin? See, the point of Bitcoin, the reason why it is built and the direction in which it is walking towards, it is to become money itself. It is to replace all fiat currencies. When that happens, all transactions in the world, all value in the world will have to be captured by Bitcoin. There are many different ways to do the math of this, but global GDP today is close to 105 trillion US dollars. The and GDP figures only give you the value of the final transacted good and service. Let's say there's a sandwich. The GDP will only calculate the value of the final sandwich. It ignores all intermediate steps. So someone grows the grains and sells it, that is ignored. Someone makes the dough bread and sells it, that is ignored. Someone grows cucumber and tomato, all of that is ignored, and just the final sandwich is considered. So for $105 trillion economy, the actual amount of money you need to support that economy is larger.
Ah,
You need more money to support that amount of output because there are multiple layers of transactions. And people don't spend on the money. A lot of money is sitting in bank accounts, a lot of money is sitting in lockers. So the best estimate that you can have for this is you can go back to the gold standard when gold was money, and you would need anywhere between 2 to 4 times the amount of gold to support a certain size of economy.
I see.
So currently Bitcoin is at roughly 2 trillion US dollars, a little more, maybe 2.3. And the size of the prize is in hundreds of trillions, multiple hundreds of trillions. And this is me giving you the most conservative of all the estimates that I have.
Wow.
So you have, in my calculation, you have at least 40x from here, even if it just has to match the size of the global GDP, and many more times beyond that, I believe, in today's dollars. As we go ahead, as countries print more and more money and increase the supply, the size of the GDP will increase and the size of the price will increase. So in today's dollars, if you look at parity from the future, a Bitcoin should be worth 40 times more at least in today's dollars. So that is the return I'm looking at.
Lucrative.
This is not financial advice.
Yes. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
But I think since I have the risk appetite, the only hurdle is the getting started with it. So
I can help you do that.
for me at least, well, for other people I can say that they might still have tangibility issues like I had before.
Tangibility is a psychological comfort,
It is.
but it's not necessarily the solution to the needs. For instance, when you used banknotes, they were more tangible. Who uses banknotes today?
Oh, not me.
Right? So it's an issue, tangibility, until it isn't.
Yeah.
And then no one even remembers that there was a world that was different.
Yeah.
That's how people work. Any lingering questions?
I'm thinking. It makes sense. I don't have any question about the confusion related to Bitcoin. Just, I want to get started right away. I have lost 6 months because we talked about this 6 months ago almost.
9 months ago.
Oh my God. My bad.
Luckily enough, you haven't lost a lot in terms of price. So in this year, Bitcoin has just done this.
Nice. 2025. Good year. I can still get into it.
You can still get into it at basically the same price.
So I'll get started with it.
What this also means
There's
a this coming. Is again not financial advice, and I don't believe in predicting. So I don't invest based on these beliefs or anything. But I just like to develop a sense for how things work. And if it's been quiet for so long, it's not going to be quiet for much longer now.
This too shall pass, as we said earlier.
This too shall pass.
I do have a little bit of off-track question about Bitcoin, which is, I'm still new to this feeling and reasoning. With my investment, I now try to be mindful about investing in only those stocks and funds which are not ethically compromised and which are sustainable. It is some new journey I'm on. So I still don't know what are the environmental and sustainability impacts of the Bitcoin industry. And I might become a hypocrite investing in it without learning those things, but you have to compromise somewhere. So yeah, if you know about that.
Funnily enough, the guy I was talking to today, he also works in clean energy, and this was one of his top concerns as well. So, Bitcoin mining takes up a lot of energy. Currently, it is estimated to take up roughly 0.5% of all the world's electricity consumption.
Huge.
That is huge. Yeah. I believe that energy consumption is not a bad thing.
I agree.
The story of human civilization has been a story of more and more energy consumption.
I mean, that is true that we have gotten to this point because we were able to discover fossil fuels and use them. There's a book called A Moral Case for Fossil Fuels by Alex Epstein, which I have not been able to finish yet. But it talks about that it is a boon that we were able to use it, and our life expectancy has increased. But the thing is, at one point, we'll have to take responsibility of the externality, which is the carbon dioxide emissions and the damage we are doing to the environment. So, is there an ethical way on how to go about it? Because we can't behave the same. We can't just refuse that responsibility. So, maybe you could not put this in the podcast, but what if, considering that Bitcoin does have environmental impacts, we do invest in it but use those profits to make that energy clean and I don't know.
There are two ways to address your concern. Firstly, everything takes up energy, right?
Yeah.
What feels justified depends on, or unjustified, depends on the value that it is creating for people, right? What Bitcoin is offering to people is not just a money for the future, it is an end to the theft of inflation, because inflation is theft. It is a transfer of wealth from whoever holds cash, which is mostly the poor, to whoever holds assets, which is mostly the rich. That is the value it is delivering to people. If it comes at a price, it would feel more justified to me than compared to, let's say, the fashion industry, which consumes a lot more energy than the Bitcoin mining industry. And to me, feels less justified in its energy consumption.
I agree to that reasoning. Ending the theft because of inflation, it does sound like a good bargain. Just to not repeat what we did earlier, what do you think about, making it a mandate that the profits you earn by Bitcoin, some of it goes to cleaning it a bit, or maybe making the process a bit more environmentally sound?
This is where my second point comes in.
Yeah.
Bitcoin mining is the best thing that has happened to clean energy grids.
Huh.
If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I'm very particular about how I buy and store my Bitcoin. This is why I use GetBit. GetBit is India's first Bitcoin only exchange, and they've made self custody genuinely easy. You can buy Bitcoin at GetBit and then move it to your own private wallet at zero cost. This means that you're not just holding on to a promise, you're holding actual Bitcoin. In the long run, this matters more than anything else. On top of that, their SIP feature lets you accumulate Bitcoin starting with just Rs 100, so you can gradually build your position over time. This is honestly the best way to navigate Bitcoin's volatility. So if you want to buy Bitcoin the right way, you can use my code DVJBTC for 30% off on platform fees for the first 3 months. So go to getbit.in or download their mobile app, or just click the link in the description and enter DVJBTC at the referral page for 30% off on platform fees.
Oh, yes. Do tell.
So, if you have a clean energy grid, the challenge that they face, let's say you have wind and solar, the challenge that they face is you have a demand profile, which is how much people want to consume, and then you have a supply profile. And it is very hard to match supply with demand, because supply depends, in the case of wind, on wind, and in the case of solar, on the sun. So your supply is fluctuating a little predictably, a little randomly, because with solar you have day night, but you can have a cloudy day, but the supply is there, like you need that supply. So what you end up having to do to stabilize a renewable energy grid is, there are four options, but I tend to remember only three. One is you need a stable base load to complement the renewable energy portion of it, which is you can have a coal or a nuclear or some other kind of power plant that you can control the production of, that creates a base on which on top the renewable energy adds. So you come back to this original problem of having pollution, having environmental effects of these things. Nuclear is good though. Nuclear doesn't have so many effects, but coal does, and mostly coal is the one that is used because people have vilified nuclear for decades now. The second thing you can do is you can have agreements with nearby grid operators or grids where you compensate for each other's surpluses or deficits. That works to a certain extent, like it can help you a little bit here and there, but that doesn't solve the problem either. The third thing, and the best thing that you can have as a renewable energy grid, is flexible demand that can quickly turn on and off in response to production.
How can we have we can't control people's demands, but we can control the Bitcoin mining demand, can we?
You don't even need to control, that's the beauty. The incentive is already built in. If I'm a miner, and firstly, let me explain why flexible load is needed. Let's say this is the demand profile of the entire economy, and this is the supply profile of renewable energy, RE, I will call it from now on. What you want is, when this is a surplus, when extra is being generated, the spot price, in India you don't have spot prices, but in other parts of the world you do. So it's nice to think in terms of spot prices. The spot price of energy is quite low here because supply is excess, demand is low. And when the supply dips below demand, the spot price becomes quite high. What you want ideally as a grid operator is, when I'm generating excess energy, someone comes in and uses that energy, which keeps the spot price at a reasonable level, and hence my operations are still profitable. And when the energy is at a deficit, the production, someone can quickly turn it off, whatever that they are consuming, so that there's no deficit, and then I don't have to rely on other base loads and other such things, right?
I see.
What Bitcoin mining is, it's an attempt to solve a cryptographic problem that is independent of previous attempts.
I see.
And it refreshes every 10 minutes approximately. So every 10 minutes, roughly, there's a new block that is mined, and then all miners around the world restart calculations on the next block. And even if you stop them somewhere in middle of their calculations, it doesn't matter to them, because what they're trying to solve for is one by infinite kind of problem. Like, it's a very large number of possibilities and a very small set of right answers. And because it's an independent calculation, it's not as if previous calculations that they did, let's say if they've already been doing for 5 minutes, those calculations are forgotten, they're not kept in memory, so it's just randomly generating. So the probability, this is math now, the probability of success is irrespective of the amount of time you've already put in.
I see.
But even if you ignore that and you take a 10-minute time frame, as a miner, what are my costs and what are my income? My costs are split into fixed and variable. My fixed cost is the mining equipment that I buy. My variable costs are the place that I rent out, which is a small fraction, and the energy that I put into, which is the biggest piece. So let's look at energy as the biggest piece here. That is my input cost. And what I get out of it is, if I mine a block, I get the block reward, which is a certain number of Bitcoin. Currently it is 3.125. My costs are denominated in rupees or dollars or whatever, right? I pay the energy company and the person I'm renting it from in, let's say, rupees, and I get Bitcoin as money that I convert to rupees, and then I pay those costs, right? So there is a certain cost of electricity, cost of energy, below which it is not profitable to mine anymore, given the block reward. The block reward is known. The price of Bitcoin in your local currency is easily calculable. You can just plug in a exchange ka number, and this is already that has been built, so I'm not even describing an imaginary system. Miners have already built a system that responds to the price of electricity, to the spot price of electricity, and to the price of Bitcoin in their currency, given their current operations and costs and how everything works. They just plug it into a model, and automatically, when there is excess energy being generated by the grid, the miners turn more and more of their rigs on because they're getting energy for cheaper. And when there is deficient energy generated and the spot price shoots up, they just turn off their operations.
I see.
So now grid operators realize this, and they are getting into deals with Bitcoin miners where they are trying to attract more and more miners to work on their grid, so that they don't need to scale their grid up to insane levels to create a base load without the help of coal, for instance. So now you have a huge part of your demand, if it is just flexible, if it is responding to the price automatically without you having to ask anyone, you just solve for that problem.
Wow. Do you think, is there any group who might not benefit from this?
Do you have something in mind?
No, I don't know where my mind is at with this, but this sounds like a very good agreement and sounds like a win-win situation. But I just want to ensure that I'm not missing anything. Who might not benefit from this? I'm just thinking, who is losing here? Is there anyone losing
Even
here?
the people in that locality are winning because they have now a more stable spot price at which the electricity is being delivered to them.
They do. Usually, government is the one who gives out electricity. Are they losing on profits if this happens?
The government doesn't try to profit from electricity. Usually it's a loss-making enterprise for them.
That is a good thing. I should read more about this.
They have to subsidize energy costs for people, and that has been the case in Delhi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a loss-making enterprise for them anyway.
Got it.
But this way, there is a future that is possible where governments can actually take a step back from this and just let the market do its thing, because the market doesn't fluctuate so much anymore, because there are mining companies that dampen any fluctuation. So now you need one less department, one less bit of inefficiency in this already bloated bureaucratic structure.
Well, I know that the Bitcoin industry has been here for longer than the AI industry. And do you think the boom in AI is going to change something for the Bitcoin industry?
Yes, I think everything changes everything else. I'll answer your question, but I'll make a small point first. Bitcoin is the thing that helps me sleep at night, knowing that AI is coming and it is coming at a rapid pace. And now I'll explain why. You already are at a point where you can create AI agents that can do things end to end. You can create workflows using AI agents with just prompting, with just English. These AI agents are going to be capable of actually carrying out economic activity around the world. But what is going to restrict them, or what does restrict them in the current system, is that they don't have a bank account. You as a person has a bank account, so you can create an AI agent and then benefit from it. But the AI agent itself cannot be an independent actor in the world. Bitcoin changes this. You don't need to be a person to create a Bitcoin wallet. You just need to go out there and press a few buttons and you have a wallet, and then you can start selling yourself, selling a service somewhere. And you can start collecting payment in Bitcoin. So in a future where this is inevitable, that AI agents are just going to operate as freely, or not as freely, but to a degree of freedom that humans also enjoy, the money that would be suited to their needs is Bitcoin. So AI should accelerate the arrival of Bitcoin. And I asked AI about this. I asked ChatGPT, I asked Gemini, in private windows, in windows where they can't look at my previous Bitcoin chats and just be influenced by that. And I asked them, of all the monies that exist today, in a future where AI agents are operating independently as agents, which one do you think would be most suited and why? And they give me the answer is always Bitcoin, and then they give me very, very interesting reasons for why that is. Like this idea that they can't create a bank account is something that AI gave me. Like, oh yeah, that's true. An AI agent is hugely limited because of that. Now it can be an independent economic actor because it has Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And this is already being done.
Ah?
There are people who are getting AI agents to provide services and then collect payment in Bitcoin.
Is it happening in India or?
I don't know where exactly it's happening, but it is happening. I've read about this. I've seen videos of people execute this and just put it out there like, hey guys, I did this.
Hey guys,
I
I
got
did
my AI agent to now just take decisions by itself and
So cool.
work. That's cool, yeah.
You know, since I know that I have had decision paralysis related to Bitcoin, I should just do that myself just to get over the friction I'm facing getting started with it. Good insight.
So when we started this conversation, if you had to rate this out of 10, how convinced you were of Bitcoin as an investment, as an asset class, how much would you have rated it?
Considering we have had a little bit of conversation about it before, 6 at the beginning.
And right now?
It's like 88. Oh, you said out of 10.
Yeah.
10.
10. Okay.
I should start doing this right now because it makes sense. I have the capital. I am at a point in my life where I'm experimenting with stuff. So I just want to do it. I just want to get started with it.
Awesome. This has been an amazing conversation.
Amazing. Thank you for having me.